Have we already reached peak draft crazy season? Yeah, we have Ty Simpson going to the Cardinals, third overall. Please make it stop, Johnny Venerable, please.
No, it's here to stay. Jeremy Fowler, Charles Davis, Mel Kiper Jr. here in Tied to the Desert. Plus, Mike Garafolo joins us. What really happened at the height of the Cardinals' disaster free agency? PHNX Cardinals starts now. Hey, welcome in. We're live here, PHNX Cardinals, our Major League Baseball debut 2026. But this is your premier Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. I'm Johnny Venerable, my co-host Bo Brack. Noah Man, you wandered away. Shane Diefenbach behind the Mac today. I don't know if Noah could stomach the topic of conversation. Again, Ty Simpson on the menu for the 4th straight day, and there's some substance to this draft saga, Bo.
No, well, I hate all of it, and I can respect Noah just throwing his hands up and say, I'm out of here, but I can say hello to everybody who's in here. How about Dave H., PK Fitzgerald, Naheem, rocker, vocalist, AZ, Das Libra, Dustium, Schaff, as always, Reese, Arizona Cardinals. We got Steven Jackson, lighting it up, burnt marble with the supporter emojis. G. Willikers, Jedi Cardinal, Evan. Are you official Jedi? Johnny's going to check that. No. And also, we've got Mr. Boogie, Alberto, Jersey Cardinal. Love to see everybody in here. Mo AZ Cardinals fan. Thank you for joining us here on Thursday, the day that the 2026 NFL Draft mock draft season jumped the shark.
Yeah, so before we dive into that, Bo and I spoke off air. We've gotten close to our goal the last 2 days of 1,000, but it's a lot to ask. So we're going to tweak it. So for those of you who don't know, we are trying to get my brother in football, Bo Brack, to shave a stash like me and go clean shaven. So here's what we're proposing. And I'm tweaking what we talked about earlier.
Okay.
The new wager for Bo to join me on our stash expedition.
You haven't run this by me, but go ahead.
I haven't. I'm just making this up. I'm deciding on this. 500 likes, which is what we discussed. 500 likes, 20 new memberships in a show. 20 new YouTube memberships.
Wow.
500 likes. Bo goes stash with your boy through the draft.
That's insane.
Yeah. We can do it today. We can do it tomorrow. We can do it next week. If we get a show where Bo Brack and I get 500 likes and 20 new members, then we will be Stash Bros through the draft.
As much as I'd love to welcome 20 new members and 500 likes, I hate the prospect of having to go to the league meetings on Monday, sit down next to Michael Floor, and have a dirty stash on my face. But my God, Ranger.
It's already done.
At least the memberships, the PHNX supporters already locked in thanks to our guy Ranger, always the generous one. Just said he took his card, gave it to the bartender and said, "Put it on my tab today." What an absolute just gentleman and a scholar.
What a monster. Okay, so that's done. So 500 likes, Bo goes with his stash. For the owners meeting, absolutely electric, as was the Twitter streets today. We've got Mike Garafolo around the corner. Stay tuned for that. But Charles Davis, who has been a long-time college football NFL analyst, spends a lot of time around the college game, calls a lot of Big Ten football, calls a lot of SEC football, is a part of draft coverage every year. He's very well connected. He's a consistent color man on college football Saturday and NFL Sundays. He put out a mock draft today for NFL.com that has, I think, gotten people a little riled up. It is not so much what he has the Cardinals doing, so much so the verbiage that he says in the breakdown. So Shane, Deef, let's take a look. He has Ty Simpson going 3rd overall, which I will let Bo react to here in a second with a barf bag. But he said last year I opined in one of my early mocks that Jackson Dart would go to the Giants with the 3rd overall pick. But I didn't stick with the pairing as the process unfolded. Dart, of course, ultimately ended up with New York after Big Blue traded back into the 1st round and selected the quarterback at number 25. This year, I think Simpson ends up with the Cardinals, even if it's not the spot where they pick him.
Yeah, I can get the reasoning. It's an interesting thing that put a qualifier in his little breakdown after they made the selection. And I wanted to just crush and torpedo Charles Davis and obviously his legitimacy, how he's, looked upon, especially in the mock draft world. And I look back at his last couple drafts and I was like, man, I'm off to a good start because I looked at 2025, his last submission. He did have the Giants taking Abdul Carter. As far as the Cardinals pick, he had them taking off-ball linebacker Jahad Campbell. And I said, okay, all right, let's see what he has the previous years. 2024, Marv at 4, nailed that. He didn't get the player right, but he got the position right as far as the Cardinals taking a defensive lineman instead of Darius Robinson. He had him taking Jerzon Johnny Newton,
which we would have done.
23, he had the Cardinals wrong pick, right player, Paris Johnson Jr., 3rd overall.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's been pretty accurate as far as
that's pretty impressive.
Cardinals. Yeah,
you got to admit that.
Pretty disappointed with my findings. I thought I was going to be able to dunk him and just drag his good name through the mud, but I can't do that today.
Well, flipping well. And it's like Charles Davis doesn't need to do clickbait. Charles Davis is a salt of the earth guy.
Good guy.
He is not one of these talking heads on the internet. Like, I like Dan Orlovsky. His opinion this week has been rough with putting Ty Simpson over Mendoza. But Charles Davis is not doing that. Charles Davis is likely talking to people around Ty Simpson's camp. And I think we're going to come to find out that there's a lot of interest from Arizona in Ty Simpson. And that maybe Charles is connecting the dots like we have, or specifically me, like Monti Ossenfort, what do you got? Are you really going to go into this year with Jacoby Brissett and Gardner Minshew? So I am not going to sit here like you, or not like you, and bang on Charles Davis. I think that would be wrong. And I like that he put the caveat in this write-up that's just like, I expect him to be a Cardinal. I think he will be a Cardinal, just not at 3. And I like that he's shooting his shot at 3, planting his flag, saying, kind of like some other beat reporters this week, and we're going to get to it specifically today, there's a lot of smoke with Ty and the Cardinals right now. And then that's why we talk about it every day.
But here's an important thing to understand. And that's why I hate that he put the Cardinals at 3. They're not taking him 3rd overall. I understand that he thinks that there's going to be some draft maneuvering where they leave 2026 potentially 1st round with Ty Simpson, or maybe they take him 34th overall.
Yeah.
But as far as this mock draft exercise is concerned, in my opinion, is trying to understand how the draft dominoes are going to fall, who, like, especially the teams that you follow or you root for, who's going to be left on the board. And this takes away from that. The idea, because Cardinals taking Ty Simpson 3rd overall, Daniel Jeremiah has done the rounds recently, debunking a lot of what Dan Orlovsky said and the value of Ty Simpson and how it is completely wiped away by utilizing the 3rd overall pick on him. That's something that the Arizona Cardinals cannot do, because they completely would punt on getting a franchise pillar, potentially, regardless if it's, somebody who's going to be leading the charge as far as jersey sales or not, a franchise right tackle, a pass rusher, whatever it may be. They're punting on their ability to get that first and then having to get creative down the line in getting Ty Simpson. I am still firmly in the camp that Ty Simpson is not going 3rd overall. I would stake a lot of important things on that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the general consensus is that. So Charles Davis, check. Mel Kiper Jr. earlier today, who, again, very much Fernando Mendoza over Ty Simpson. He said 3 clubs are in the Ty Simpson business. And he listed the Jets, he listed the Steelers, and he listed the Arizona Cardinals. Those are the 3 teams.
Yeah.
And then there was a bite this afternoon. I'll give credit to K1 since day one.
Yeah.
Jeremy Fowler was on ESPN and said, quote, when speaking with people, executives around the league, scouts around the league on Ty Simpson, the Arizona Cardinals come up a lot. That was the quote. And I'm sure Charles Davis is using that same mindset, that same philosophy, that the Cardinals and Ty, and we can go all the way back. And I dogged on it at the time. Last December, Josh Weinfuss put out a tweet, and I think it was in an article, that the Cardinals were infatuated with Ty Simpson. Now, it was before Gannon was fired and Mike LaFleur has come in. But is it a coincidence they hired a head coach who's a quarterback guru who, his predecessor or his mentors have liked these kind of quarterbacks in the past? I don't think that's an anomaly we can ignore. So there's a lot of smoke right now with this, and barring something unforeseen, the intrigue is only going to grow until draft weekend. I think a lot of Cardinal fans who are not on board with this, I'm just going to tell you right now, be prepared. Be prepared for this to be an option for this team on draft weekend. And I'm with Charles Davis. I think it's crazy that the Jets are in on him. I think the Steelers, inclement weather, what happened with Kenny Pickett, I think that's nuts too. I would put the Cardinals as the
why not
right now.
Why not those teams?
Well, because of what we talked about with the Jets previously, it feels like they're going all in for the 2027 quarterback class.
Okay, you can sway me. You can persuade me with that. Okay. And then the Steelers, why not Pittsburgh? I mean,
Steelers probably to a lesser degree. I just don't think Ty Simpson projects well in that division in inclement weather. I think
what a prospect. That's great. You can't play in cold weather.
Don't be a smart ass. I'm just saying what I'm saying.
I mean, if it's going to disqualify him, you got to play important games in December and January. It's okay, you're going to take a guy that you have those concerns about as your franchise quarterback.
All I'm saying is that I think that to play in that division, it takes a certain caliber of quarterback with physical attributes that he doesn't.
Cardinals play the best division in football.
Yeah, but I'm talking about inclement weather, a big player like Ben, like Flacco once upon a time. Lamar is a big guy. It's not a complete non-starter for me, but I just look at if Mike McCarthy wants to do that, then they'll give him free reign to do that. But I also think they'll be scared off by the Kenny Pickett situation.
You had plenty of rag arm quarterbacks in the NFC or the AFC East and the AFC North that were able to find success. It's just that's a silly reason. It's you can't.
That's
go
my
there
reason. The team's not saying that.
Yeah.
The team could very well be in on him.
Right.
But they're talking up Will Howard, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're Mike McCarthy, you probably want to be able to pick your guy. And if Mike McCarthy likes him, just like we said about Mike LaFleur, go ahead and take him. Listen, I'm not sitting here saying the Steelers aren't going to take him, but right now there's a reason if we pull up our odds, are they even in the top 5?
Yeah, I think they are.
Were they 4 or 5?
Pittsburgh right there at 5.
They were fifth, plus 750.
Yeah, Jets and Cardinals plus 140. You can't completely rule out the Jets. They're going to wine and dine Ty Simpson. They're going to hold a private workout, and I'm sure they're going to make a determination. I mean, they're going to have the most information on Ty of any of the teams in this draft. Pittsburgh's just one of those teams. Is you continue to see just the circus that surrounds their quarterback position. They're allowing Aaron Rodgers to go off of his schedule and not theirs. That they would want some sort of clarity at that position, that this Ty at least give them somebody that could say it's the future. But they're also coming off a miss in the first round on a quarterback in Kenny Pickett not too long ago. So that stain is one that won't be removed anytime soon. So and then let me get back to picking this apart as far as Mel Kiper. Also in the same conversation, he would not acknowledge the Browns because he's still going off his own agenda, his own narrative about Shedeur Sanders, and saying Shedeur Sanders is a better quarterback than Ty Simpson.
Because he would have had him go first overall last year.
Right. So how do you feel about Mel Kiper's ability to evaluate the quarterback position?
I don't feel great about it.
Right.
I don't love it. I've been consistent with that, but I'm not using his love of Shedeur Sanders as a shot at Ty Simpson because he thinks Shedeur Sanders is a number 1 overall pick. We've been consistent with our thought process on Ty Simpson that he is a fringe first round quarterback that deserves to go in the back half. And he is a guy you take a flyer with, and hopefully you have a good infrastructure offensively to support him. He is not a guy coming in here at top 5. It's going to carry your franchise, at least right away.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we're going to come back around the break. Let's come back around the break. Let's talk pros and cons. Okay. And let's also talk the cost of moving up. Plus, we got Mike G coming up. Hit that like. Get us to 500. Bo goes to a stash. It's PHNX. Now is the perfect time to kick off that home renovation project you've been thinking about. 'Tis the season. And do it with our friends at Window Depot. Introducing flooring, right? Well, flooring is not a new concept, but for Window Depot, they're upgrading their game for you. Currently available at all their Tucson stores and coming right here to Phoenix. They've been serving Arizona since 2002. And while they started with windows, now they're the one-stop shop from doors, lights, skylights, cabinets, countertops, sinks, and so much more. Big reason I love them. They got the best inventory at the best prices, from windows to doors, cabinets. They have in stock the kind of gear that you need. No wasting time, no gimmicks, just everyday low pricing to get your inventory installed. Best part also is you can shop online and do an in-store pickup. Browse directly at thewindowdepot.com with real access to in-stock products at your nearest location. Get what you need when you need it. On top of that, maybe you need a custom order. Their order program lets you customize on what project that you need with in-house designers. They're ready to work for you. From cabinets to countertops, they make it oh so simple. Visit thewindowdepot.com and get your project started today, or stop by and check them out, one of their 7 Arizona locations.
Recently swapped out my garbage disposal, looking for a bigger project. I think it might be time for me in the Window Depot, windowdepot.com. Also, it's time maybe to get more consistent energy bills, and APS is going to help me do that. It's going to help you do that as well. Managing your monthly expenses doesn't have to be this guessing game any longer, especially here in Arizona, where the energy use can swing in the seasons, and we're seeing that swing maybe earlier than expected, in triple digits already. So those energy costs going to go up. Well, if you're already locked in with APS budget billing, your payments averaged out for the year. So now you're not going to see a big difference, about the same every month, no matter what the season. That means fewer surprises during the hot summer months, cooler winter stretches when you're using less power. Paying about the same every month gives you that predictable payment that makes it easier for you to help plan, whether you're saving up for something big, a new car, keeping that monthly budget on track. It's a simple way to stay in control of your energy bill more consistent throughout the year. Find all your options and manage your bill at aps.com/let's talk. That's right. How can APS lower your bill? Well, let's talk about rate plans, aps.com/let's talk.
So I want to clear up something here, because there are a lot of people that are throwing shade at Jeremy Fowler, because Fowler was somebody connecting the dots with the Cardinals and Malik Willis. He also connected the dots with Miami and never strayed from that. There were people who said the Cardinals were the front runner for Malik Willis. I don't think Jeremy Fowler ever said that. And so, you can say that there's a lot of smoke around the Cardinals and Ty Simpson, and he can allude to that. It doesn't guarantee anything, because if the Cardinals liked Malik Willis but at their price, well, we know how that went down. If the Cardinals like Ty Simpson but they like him at the end of the first and the Jets take him at 16, well, it's the same thing as Malik Willis. So, I'm not of the mindset hey, because Jeremy Fowler linked the Cardinals to Malik Willis, which 10 other people did, doesn't, I think, debunk their interest in Ty Simpson. It's just, as you put it, varying levels of interest here.
Yeah. There was a chain of trust that was broken, in my opinion, as far as Jeremy Fowler and a lot of insiders out there that I think Fowler, he had told you out there in Indy, he could see that. He could see the Cardinals as being a Malik Willis team. He didn't say definitively that the Cardinals were on Malik Willis. Our guy Mike Garafolo is going to give us even more insight on that coming up. But yeah, so I am not somebody. I'm one that pushes back on the idea of aggressively pursuing a pick to get a guy like Ty Simpson. I've made my my issues, my reservations with Simpson known. I'm also not, punting on the idea of him wearing a Cardinals uniform. I think them getting a quarterback, say if he falls in your lap at 34, if there's a minor trade up that costs 60 cents on the dollar, I could easily stomach and see what the team was trying to accomplish. But at the same time, like I'm firmly against them giving up, premium draft capital in order to make this happen, because I'm not a big believer like Ty Simpson is somebody that you can rely upon and say this is the future of the position. And I also don't have the appetite to get into the Ty Simpson business for the next half decade, because that's what it would become. And I feel like that would be very similar but different than what we just went through in the last 7 years. And you're questioning, like, is it ever going to truly look like we think it could look at its best day?
That's fair. I think you have to think about the prospect of a quarterback on a rookie contract, and can you build up this roster to get to a point where you can have immediate success? Where I differ from you is I'm not going to sit here and wait for a unicorn to fall into this team's lap. There are plenty of other franchises that consistently win, and they don't have superstar quarterbacks, right? There are how many great quarterbacks in the NFL? Like 5 to 6. I mean, there are 32 franchises here. How about draft a quarterback that can help you win games, and then let's worry about hanging a Super Bowl banner up for tomorrow. Let's not make that a priority today. Let's try to not be the embarrassment of the NFL. I think I'm coming at it from a different spot. I understand what you're saying, and of course the goal is to hoist a Lombardi, but this franchise has been dormant since Bruce Arians left. And if Ty Simpson can come here and be a facilitator and help and be a grown-up and a professional and help you win games with Mike LaFleur and instill his culture, and I got to give up a throwaway, piss on the dirt third rounder and maybe a day 3 pick next year, I'm not going to cry over that. I got to give up a Tip Ryman to go up and get a quarterback. I'm going to survive. Let's take a look at the pro and cons for Ty Simpson, Bo. You broke this down well. I don't have an issue with this.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Just point out where there's any inaccuracies. I don't think that there are. You go through pros. I think the ultimate pro is his high football IQ, his processing. When you think about, Ty Simpson, it's the old cliche, but it's also true. Like his dad is a coach at a college, so he's one of those guys that kind of falls in line with that.
He gets it.
He's a coach's son, type of strong command of an offense, decision making. He's usually pretty good there. Accuracy, touch, that's probably the best of his passing game. I know Johnny wanted to make a lot of the deep ball he threw, but it's more intermediate stuff, short stuff. And then the last of the pros, we'll start here, and this is a precursor to where his cons also lie. But his first 9 starts, 21 touchdowns, 1 pick. Alabama was firmly in the college football playoff where things slid off. They only had 1 loss through those first 9 games. They are 8-1. And Ty Simpson was a big part of it. It was also a big part in the early, draft talk. And Ty Simpson was in those conversations as far as quarterbacks in this class. As far as the cons, the size and frame limitations, 6'1", 211. That's slightly undersized. Still needs to add probably a little bit of mass. Limited starting experience. You got 15 starts. That's it. And just 1 full season as a starter. And people have pointed out, there's not a long track record. It's really pretty much one that has 1 starting season in the successful NFL career coming in, and that was Cam Newton. And then round out the last con here. It's the last 6 starts. Bama goes 3-3. Ty Simpson, I think 7 touchdowns, 4 picks. Not his best ball.
I mean, he beat Oklahoma in the college football playoff, but yeah, I mean, the Alabama had an uneven year. I don't have an issue with any of those.
That was a win, but when you look at the 3 losses, he played very poorly. We're talking Georgia, we're talking Indiana, we're talking NFL caliber defense, the best that college has to offer. Struggled.
I we will never know this, but like, would that energy be kept with Dante Moore at the end of the year, who was atrocious against Indiana in the college football playoff, was bad against Texas Tech. His defense shut out Texas Tech. He didn't throw a touchdown in that game. Yeah. He played JM here, not to get on a Dante Moore run here, but he had 30 touchdowns last year. 12 of them were against Oregon State, Rutgers, and JMU combined. Okay. When he played Iowa, no touchdowns. When he played Wisconsin, no touchdowns. When he played Northwestern, 1 touchdown. I mean, he had a 3-touchdown game against Montana State. I mean, it's just like
you can play that game with any college player. You can play that game
right. Well, you're doing it with Ty Simpson here. Dante.
No. I'm talking about big games that meant something that you can. They're the closest thing that you're going to see to the NFL level. He struggled against some of the better defenses in the league. And the thing about Dante Moore is he's had starting experience. He's 6'3". He's much bigger build. He's got the measurables. And he's got the athleticism. Ty Simpson lacks a lot of that stuff.
I think I can make an argument. So Dante Moore as a multi-year starter.
Dante Moore isn't even in this class. What are we talking about?
Well, because everybody was.
He's a much better NFL prospect.
Sign, seal, and deliver him second overall. And it's like, well, Dante Moore, a multi-year starter, and most of his numbers were juiced against bad teams. I think you could say the same thing like Ty Simpson, 1-year starter. A lot of meat left on the bone for him to grow and develop as a player. Like people look at that as a negative. Maybe it's a positive. Maybe you get him into this program. It's like, wow, Ty Simpson really has come alive here and would have built off of what he did at Alabama last year had he stayed. But instead, the Cardinals are the benefactor of that. I look at it the same way that we look at Mike LaFleur or how the Cardinals looked at Cliff Kingsbury one time. And it's like you're trying to buy early on a guy instead of too late, and you're not in the market when teams and coaches and players have options. So
this is the NFL. The NFL will take those, best case scenario, glass half full approaches and say, hey, if we just put them in the best scenario, they'll take those, they'll chew them up and they spit them out. Like that's what the data shows as far as guys at Simpson's size and his experience. That's all there. That's all there for you to read and see. Why? So you're saying I'm going to ignore it because I want to live in a future where Ty Simpson is this quarterback that he hasn't been yet.
So why is everybody saying that he is a first-round caliber quarterback? Why?
Well, I mean,
why?
A lot of that stuff has kind of been debunked. I mean,
you
don't stuff that Orlovsky said, like you have to cast that off as false now because Daniel Jeremiah went. He said the things that Orlovsky was saying as far as him being, QB1 in this draft.
Well, sure, no one's saying that.
Teams have him somewhere on their board that other team. Jeremiah's like, I haven't talked to one person that said that.
Well, sure. That's not what we're talking about, though. We're talking about Ty Simpson getting a grade from majority of NFL teams. He's not declaring for this draft if teams aren't telling him he's going to be a first-round quarterback. Maybe Dante Moore got negative feedback and was like, I'm going back to college. Maybe he got feedback from people saying you're probably the more we dive into the tape, you're not going to go in the first round, right? I know. Yeah, maybe that's we don't know that. I think for me, he is as good of a fringe first round quarterback of anybody that we typically see in terms of like a guy who is a top 40 prospect that should be a late first round pick. Like again, your argument holds in the sense that he is not a top 5 pick. He's not a top 10 pick. The hesitation with Mac Jones once upon a time. That's why he went in the teens. But I'm going to tell you right now, these teams have been scorned and burned by these ultra athletic quarterbacks and the toolsy guys that aren't refined and aren't polished. And at the end of the day, like they're out of the league, they're getting people fired. Like I have a hard time believing if Ty Simpson just comes in and meets expectations in this, it's going to get Ty Simpson's not getting people fired. That's my opinion. Like I don't look at Ty Simpson as somebody who's coming to the NFL and being grossly overwhelmed. I looked at Anthony Richardson and it's like, well, his completion percentage was terrible at Florida. He's never been a rhythm. The NFL is about rhythm passing and being able to dissect the defense and go through your progressions. And I think it's a lot more of a scary proposition. It's great when you get the unicorn, you combine the two with the physical attributes and then the processing. I think teams are much more swaying now. And this is why I believe Ty Simpson got the green light from teams on a guy that can come in and run their offense and is young and is cheap. It's like buying a Toyota Corolla. It's like, I want to go out and be able to know that reliable, capable, get me to where I want to go, to and from location. Of course, you want the souped up car that fits everybody. I'm not a car guy.
What happened to you?
But it's like,
what happened to you?
They're not in the market. They can't get that right now.
You want to get a Toyota Corolla in the first round in the NFL draft, and to say a guy's not overwhelmed, the guy who was the quarterback of an offense that scored 7 against Georgia, scored 3 against Indiana. You don't think he was overwhelmed, overpowered in those games? I mean, that's a ridiculous claim.
I mean, it's consistently overwhelmed.
It's just a lot of the stuff is pointing. It's going to be Ty Simpson. He's going to be up against it. As far as Ty Simpson, is he a second rounder? Is it worthy of a flyer, a day 2 pick? I can get behind that. Sure. Like, I'm willing to see that out. But as far as like going up there and burning picks, I don't care if you're going to use them on this year's version of Tip Ryman. It's just downright irresponsible, especially if you get into 2027 and that draft capital.
People are saying like he's too short. Guys, he's 6'1", right? He's not under 6 foot. Like Tua's under what is Tua under 6 foot? Bryce Young is. Bryce Young is too short. He's under 6 foot.
But he's mobile.
And I think there's a scenario.
He had a lot of success throwing deep balls last year.
For sure. And had a great college career. I don't know. I think we're overthinking this with him. And I think
a college career that trumped what Ty Simpson did.
Yeah, Bama was a different caliber of program back then. I think it's really fair to question the kind of coaching and the kind of recruiting that's being done at that program compared to what Nick Saban, the greatest coach of all time, did. Let's take a look at the cost of trading up here.
Yeah.
For
Ty Simpson. Superchats later. Some of them are elite. Yeah, the cost. So a lot of people. Jimmy Johnson came up with the original model, right, back in the 90s, and it was one that people have utilized for a long time, and then it's been revised recently. It's called the Rich Hill trade model. So the numbers are a little bit different. You can look at both of them.
Yeah,
and there's some similarities, but this scale here has the Cardinals with quite a bit of draft capital as far as their total number. Starting with 3rd overall, it's 514 points. Their second round pick is 175 points, and your 3rd round pick, top pick in that round, 78 points. So you've got 3 picks here that are tremendously valuable. Where you get to the 4th round, 33 points, 5th round, 14 points. Round 6, 7, round 7, it's 4. It's basically nothing. It's chump change.
Yeah, I think you're looking at Houston at 28.
Yeah.
Monti Ossenfort already have done a deal with their administration, their front office, the Paris deal once upon a time.
Yeah.
Did they also do a deal with them on day 2? I can't remember. So they've done a deal with Houston before. Obviously, you're not going to do a deal with San Francisco. Probably do a deal with Buffalo. That's been trendy with mock drafts lately. Our guy Field Yates had the Cardinals trading up for Ty at 26, not doing a deal for San Francisco. The cost is Monty's job for Ty Simpson.
But if we could see that again, I started it at Chicago. I mean, it's a playoff team. It's a team that could very well find the 34th overall pick useful. They're at 230. So that's the higher end cost of moving up. So if you think about 34, you're at 175.
Yeah.
What is that? 55 points you have to make up there?
Yeah. But there's the quarterback tax. It's going to cost you your 3rd. Now, let's hope it doesn't cost you anything else. But minimum, that pick 65 is going bye-bye. You're not spending that pick. I know that's hard for Bo to hear. But like, it is what it is. That's the cost of doing business. You want 2 first-rounders this year. You want the 5th-year option. You want to jump the Jets. Like, be on the lookout. If the Jets trade down from 16, but like our team's trading up in this draft, I think you and I both have major question marks about that. If the New York Jets trade down from 16, then the Cardinals have to be on high alert if they want Ty Simpson. Because the Jets
that's why I just throw my hands up and I say, okay.
Well, I know you say that. I'm talking about what would the team do in that scenario?
Yeah. I mean, So Texans at 209, and you've already got 175 of that cost covered. I mean, you could get there with your fourth. The fourth is worth 33 points.
If a team is desperate to trade down, sure, but there is no way, if the Jets and the Cardinals like him enough, that he doesn't go in the first round. The Jets aren't going to get jumped one pick to lose out on Ty Simpson if they love him.
Yeah, but the Jets are very much in the 2027.
Right. We assume so. Even though they're doing this dog and pony show, we're not buying it.
I mean, I'm taking out of these teams that we're looking at here from 25 down to 32, those 7 teams. I'm taking your division rivals out there. I don't think they want to be in the business of gifting you the ability to. I don't care what you view them as far as a prospect. You don't want to do that. But like the Patriots at 31 at 190, if you give them, that'd be an overpay. But if you go if you swap your second round pick, 34th overall, and throw in your 104th pick in the 4th round. I mean, that's what I'm comfortable with. Much more than that, I'm out. I'm out.
You want to hang on to 65 by all means.
Yeah.
65 better be a hell of a player this year.
I have to be.
65, when they take whomever that is, if we're sitting in the studio, if we're sitting at Gila after we sell out night 1 and 65 comes in, it better be an impact player. If we're putting so many chips into that basket right now, because I've seen a lot of busts go in the 3rd round with this regime right now. I've seen a lot of non-impact players be drafted on day 2 for Monti Ossenfort. But maybe this one will be different. What does Mike Garafolo think? And how did it all go down with Jimmy G, Jacoby Brissett, and more? Garafolo around the corner. Hit the like. It's PHNX. So fired up for all of our partners, including our friends at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. This is what I've been telling everybody to do. We are almost sold out of our draft day tickets. We are so close to announcing a day 2, a night 2, if you will. Could be the Ty Simpson coronation. Perfect chance for you to get yourself a premier suite hotel room on Thursday, April 23rd. Right now. Go do it right now. We've got links in the description helping to save you money. So if you're coming in for the draft party, hang out with us. Bo and I just might stay live for the better part of 2 days. We might never come home. We love hanging out at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, especially our home court, Wild Horse Pass. And of course, they've got the fabulous Corvette giveaway running right now at their 4 locations through April 24th. So again, they're going to be giving out Corvettes the weekend of the draft. We're going to be hanging out. What better place than Gila River Resorts and Casinos? Nobody does it better. And on the bright side of how hot it is, how flipping hot it is outside, check out their huge landscape and their pool. Premier pool with over 4,500 slots, live table games, and more. Go big or go home a winner. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playathila.com for more details. Proud sponsor of PHNX Cardinals come draft season.
That pool, even cold in the summer, we all got to experience during a staycation last year. Look, if the Cardinals, and we're all together, select Ty Simpson 3rd overall, there's going to be a class action suit. I'm going to look to my friends at the husband and wife law team for counsel. Take us to the money, and that's what they can do. They're here to serve you as they've served the Valley for decades with hundreds of years combined trial experience and, of course, experts, specialists in personal injury and wrongful death, a title held by less than 1% of lawyers in Arizona now. The husband and wife law team, Mark and Alexis Breyer, they're the real deal. It's always important to do your research on who you hire as your lawyer. If you've suffered a serious injury, you'll usually or always land on the husband and wife law team. The difference is they're real trial lawyers. And in your case, if it needs to go to court, they're ready to play ball. Plus, they promise at least as much money in your pocket as they get in fees and are willing to lower their fee to make that happen. Unreal stuff with the husband and wife law team. If you've suffered a serious injury, call them today. 602-783-8841 or check out, of course, their website, the husband and wife law team. There's a link in the show notes. Tell them Bo and Johnny from PHNX sent you. It's been a minute since we got to catch up with our guy, Mike Garafolo, NFL Network, The Insiders. Great content there. Hopefully you consume it on the daily basis. Him and his best friends, Ian Rappaport, Tom Pelissaro, and crew.
The best of
that's right. Hit that like button, subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. And Mike, we want to get into some top 30 business. We want to get into Ty Simpson, but first we got to rehash what went down during the tampering period of the opening to NFL free agency. Thought the Cardinals would be in on Malik Willis, but somehow the Dolphins, the lovable rebuilders that they are, they reached down in their couch cushions and found the cap space for Willis. Were the Cardinals ever in on Willis? What was maybe the sticking point as far as him not coming to the desert?
Money? No, I don't. They were. Look, the Dolphins and Cardinals were both selling that they weren't going to go big for a quarterback. I mean, big is relative, right? Sure. The Dolphins were lying. The Cardinals were not. I don't know. Like, I'm still trying to get a grasp for what Malik Willis expected, because in the end, right, this is his moment to cash in. He's got to take it, right? And so I don't know what the conversations were as far as like, yeah, I'm going, and what's the plan here? What are you guys going to wind up doing? But if I sign somewhere to be a legitimate starter for the first time, and hopefully was going to take this reasonably priced contract and turn it into an even bigger one by playing well, I wouldn't be happy of the things that happened, particularly my number one wide receiver now out the door. So I'm sure the Dolphins have a plan. It's definitely a long-term plan. How the short-term fits into that, I don't know. But everything that I had heard was that they were selling Quinn Ewers was going to be the guy in the pole position to compete. That's obviously out the window. The Cardinals, on the other hand, were true to everything we heard. And the only interest they had in quarterbacks was at a much lower number than Malik Willis got. And so if he had potentially been in that ballpark or around that ballpark, things may have been different. But they seem content with moving forward with what they have in the room right now, adding Minshew and going with Jacoby Brissett.
You told us that you thought Jacoby would be the guy post free agency. Transparency, I didn't want to believe that. I think most Cardinal fans don't want to accept that. You think about like Miami. The pulse of their fan base largely was, yeah, just strip it down, new regime, clean slate. The Cardinals are not doing what the Jets are doing, trading off Sauce Gardner, trading off players for first rounders. The Cardinals have Trey McBride and Marv and Michael Wilson. They have a general manager who's in year 4. Like, what do you believe the rationale is for this? And do you think that they told Malik and Jimmy Garoppolo, yeah, we'll sign you, but like we're not going to make you the starter over Jacoby? Because I mean, Jimmy's still a free agent right now.
I think Jimmy, and it seemed like they had conversations with Jimmy, and it seemed like there was interest in him coming in. I believe as a starter, right? If he had gone there and he had signed a deal in Arizona, that he would have been the starting quarterback. Appears that ship has sailed now at this point, and Jimmy's still a free agent, and I think has to make it, because I know he's got interest, right? He has to make a decision, even stay with the Rams, who still have a backup situation that's open there, as well as some other teams potentially. So I think that would have been a different story had that gone that way. That's why, like, we talked pre-free agency, and I couldn't really give you a clean read. Whereas when we talked last, and I said, it sounds like it's Jacoby, and from what I'm hearing. So I think it would have been more of a clear path to starting rather than what you just laid out for me. Look, there's going to be pain. There's going to be pain this year. I mean, and you talk about the talent that they have on the roster. It's hard to not have talent on an NFL roster, right? I mean, it's just there's the parity is what it is. And when you're struggling for years and you have high draft picks, you're going to wind up with good players. Like, it's just going to happen. Paris Johnson, who we didn't even talk about, that should have a lucrative contract extension in the near to short-term future. There are players on the team. It's an incredibly tough division. It's still a roster that needs work in a lot of places. You've got a first-year head coach. There's going to be pain. And I'm almost of the belief that in certain markets, and this is not to say that, the Cardinals fans don't care. Like, I cover New York, Giants, Jets, the Eagles. Like, the Eagles could never rebuild. You can't do that. You can't strip it down. But there are certain places that if you're going to sell long-term gain at the end of short-term pain, okay, let's do it. And let's do it the right way. And next year's draft is quarterback loaded, talent loaded. You can see teams already compiling picks for next year. So it's not tanking, right? The T word is what the NFL doesn't want to hear. And no team actually literally tanks, but you make decisions for the long term because you know what's coming potentially.
Well, let me interrupt real quick because
Sure.
I understand that mindset, but why keep a general manager then that's 15-36? Why does Monti Ossenfort get 3 years to rebuild? Jonathan Gannon gets the axe, and then Monty's still around. It's like, yeah, we're actually going to have another 4 to 6 win-esque kind of season.
Yeah, it's the luxury of general managers. I just mentioned the Giants. Joe Shane continued as the general manager. Now the power structure changed when John Harbaugh came in, but that was before the decision on him was made, well before they even knew Harbaugh was going to be available. Brian Daboll got the axe. We see that repeatedly. GMs, for some reason, not for some reason, because a lot of times what a general manager is doing, he can sell it as we're moving in the right direction. The seeds that I'm laying right now are going to sprout in 1 to 2 years. You just got to wait for that to happen. Whereas a coach, it's like, what's happening now? What does the product look like right now? What are we moving in the right direction? Are we winning more games? It's quantifiable in that regard. It's the nature of the business. It's why a lot of times general managers don't get another chance because there's not nearly as many GMs openings as there are head coaching openings, and they tend to last longer and there's fewer opportunities. So that's why. I mean, if you're asking me like what I would have done as Michael Bidwill this year, I have no idea. Like I really would have to have a fuller picture of it there. But I understand based on how the league works why that it's occurring the way that it is.
We were talking to one of your colleagues earlier this week, Baldy, so dialed in, and he just kind of mentioned, and we agree with this, like Jacoby Brissett, competent QB, great backup, right? He's not going to fall on your face, embarrass your franchise. Had a good year. A lot of those stats were padded, but when you look at what he's up against in the NFC West, it's Matthew Stafford, it's Sam Darnold, it's those really well-built teams. So it's like bringing a spork to a knife fight, going into the season that way. That all being said, like, what is the leash on Monti Ossenfort? We talk about, 2027. What does he need to do to ensure he's in that spot come January?
He's going to have to hit a home run in this draft class is what he's going to have to do. And they're in a position to take an incredibly talented player, whoever it winds up being there. I wouldn't force a quarterback. I mean, I know that there's, this talk of Ty Simpson and where does he fit in? I don't see it that high. If you look, I just referenced Shane. I mean, Abdul Carter and all these guys, these young guys, they're playing well. Like that's what it's going to have to be for Monti Ossenfort to continue to move forward. And look, the better they play, the better chance they win games, which is going to hurt the draft positioning for what I'm talking about. So it's like you got to play this balancing act of you got to show something. You got to show that you're capable of building a roster and putting pieces in the right spots on the roster, while also setting yourself up draft positioning wise. So it's a fascinating situation to watch there in Arizona because it's going to have to be, well, we didn't win that many games, but we were close. And the guys in the right positions, in the cornerstone positions on our roster are showing signs that we've got the nucleus moving forward.
Let's talk about Ty Simpson. You mentioned Joe Shane. I think a big notch in his belt was going up and getting Jackson Dart last year at the end of the first round, him showing enough. And then probably going to Giants ownership and saying, well, here, look, I got our next quarterback.
Yeah.
Are the Cardinals, do you believe in the Ty Simpson market? There's been like varying reports dating back to like December, January that they really like him. I mean, we expect a top 30 visit. We expect maybe a private workout like the Jets. What are you hearing?
Specifically what I heard to him, because I did ask specifically about him. And I don't know if the Jets beat a lot of folks to the punch here, but they were waiting till after pro day so they're finalizing some of these visits and some of these workouts coming up. So I would expect some news on him in that regard to see where he's going to go and who he's going to see. And if he's in there, it certainly wouldn't surprise me. It's a back end of the first round type thing. I think mid to back end of the first round, whether it's a team that's there or is trading back up, a la the Giants, to come in and get Jackson Dart and do what you have to do to get back into the first round to make something like that happen. That's what it feels like to me. Look, there's always once you get to day 2, if guys aren't taken, maybe early second round, but that's where the quarterback falls off. Because if a guy's potentially worth it, you're taking him in the first round, or again, maybe at the top of round 2. And then all of a sudden you'll see guys. I mean, go back to Shedeur last year, right? Once you got to the point of, well, we're not going to make the move early to bring him in, then it's like, do we want everything that could potentially come with this? At what point do you go, it doesn't matter. Now it's the 5th round, right? Like, it doesn't matter if it doesn't work out. It's a coin flip as to whether or not a 5th round pick is going to make the roster coming out of rookie training camp anyway. That's sort of where you see it. So Ty Simpson is that late first round, potentially early second guy in my mind, where a team goes, you know what, there's a potential starter franchise quarterback here. We're going to take the shot right here.
So it feels like it could be the draft equivalent of the Malik Willis free agent situation with the Cardinals. Like, they like him, but they like him at a certain price, or they're not willing to potentially be aggressive in trading back into the first round, because they're certainly not going to use 3rd overall on a guy like Ty Simpson.
That's what I mean. At that point, and that's what happened. I keep going back to the Giants, but that's what happened there is the value on Abdul Carter was so much higher at that spot than any of the quarterbacks, even though they like Jackson Dart. It's like, we'd much rather be able to get this player here and then later to be able to maneuver. That's where I sort of see the Cardinals in that position. And then if you do that, if they do wind up with Ty Simpson late in the first round or something where they maneuver to get him, then it's like, if it doesn't work out, that means you probably lost a lot of games in 2026 and you're set up to potentially take another quarterback. And you say, oh, why would you do that a year after taking a guy in the first round? You got to throw multiple options here at the quarterback position. We've seen teams do that. We saw the Raiders do that last year, the way that they maneuvered to try to bring in free agents and via trade. And then when that didn't work out, now you got the number 1 overall pick. Now you take Mendoza. So you tried it one way last year. It didn't work out. You got a new coach. Now you go make it happen. You've got to make multiple runs at the quarterback. It's just far too important. You've got to make it try to happen.
Yeah, I'm firm agreement in that, especially for a franchise. They haven't taken a quarterback in the first 3 rounds since Kyler Murray in 2019. Obviously, Kyler's gone to the Vikings. You made that kind of proclamation before free agency. You expected him to land there. Let's look at the 3rd overall pick now. Mendoza going 1st overall. How do you see those next 2 picks going? There was a lot of momentum for Arvell Reese.
Yeah.
2nd overall. Well, you can't get plus money on that right now. The Cardinals, in my mind, like they've done the tweener off-ball linebacker pass rusher in the past. It's burned them with Isaiah Simmons and Zaven Collins, that kind of thing. How do you see those 2 picks kind of falling out?
Reddick. Don't forget Hassan Reddick.
Right. There's too many to name, frankly.
Dude, talk about a career. He's still available, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that is one of the most roller coaster careers I've ever seen in my life. And I know him. I like him. He's great. It's just like the ups and downs since he got drafted. So look, I think David Bailey. What did he run at the combine? Something ridiculous, right?
Yeah, 4 or 5 or something. Yeah,
silly. And he's the kind of guy that's just naturally gifted. Show up at the gym and like just work out and just crush it. Not lazy either. Like, I don't want to paint this the wrong way, but my understanding is he's just so naturally gifted that he makes it look so easy. So that's going to be incredibly tantalizing for a lot of teams up at the top there. So I'd certainly put him in the mix. And then what happens with Jeremiah Love at the running back position? He's got to be top 5, right? I think we've reestablished how important a running back is, especially when you are head and shoulders so much more talented and so much more productive than other guys. So I'm looking at him there, and the Giants at 5, although they've been connected to Caleb Downs with John Harbaugh, basically. Like, John Harbaugh, I don't know if he just doesn't care to have a poker face, just flat out calling him a future Hall of Famer on Mike Francesa's podcast recently. So, it's this draft. I thought this draft was going to bore me. I'm starting to warm up to it a little bit. I think there's enough talent and there's enough personalities. The guys that we've had on the insiders for interviews have been awesome. Jonah Coleman, the running back from Wisconsin, or from Washington, excuse me. He was awesome. We had the confidence level on this kid, and then some of the other guys we've interviewed, they've been great. This is not a shy draft class by any stretch.
What would be the concern with somebody like Bailey? Everybody was kind of trying to talk up what happened post Arizona State here with a cameraman and an NC State incident. It doesn't seem like outside of that there's these character concerns. Everybody wants to say, hey, it's James Pierce Jr. That's a whole nother level, in my opinion. This is a kid that graduated in 3 years from Stanford and then went to Texas Tech for a nice lucrative NIL deal. It seems like he's pretty well put together outside of those two blips.
Yeah, no, it's the other situation is just bad. And when that happened, I heard from a few folks in the draft world who had mentioned him last year, and even somebody at Tennessee was just like, "Look, man, it was just a matter of time before something like that happened." So that's sad because the performance on the field showed why he should have gone a lot higher than he actually was, and then all of a sudden you see the off the field stuff happen. What was your question again? I'm sorry.
I mean, there doesn't seem to be, when we were in Indy and when we've talked to people in the know, there doesn't seem to be any concerns as far as his character.
Oh, Bailey?
Yeah.
No. I mean, and you have to weigh this. I mean, I tell people all the time, right? I called myself, I was a bonehead till I was about 26, and I didn't grow up. I grew up a lot differently than a lot of these kids, right? Number one. Number two, I didn't have millions thrown at me. I wasn't in the spotlight. I didn't have people like us talking about everything I do professionally, left and right. So you've got to weigh it. Is the kid, do they have just some growing up to do? Or are they just not going to learn their lesson? That's what it comes down to this time of year. And in the end, there's a quote that I never met George Young, the old Giants general manager, but it's echoed by folks with the Giants all the time. He had a quote about, "We're not in the business of well-adjusted people." So that's something you live by as a general manager, as anybody who is affiliated with the NFL, and you understand that hopefully through football, people find a way to just improve. So yeah, everybody's got some growing up to do to a certain extent. I think there's a little bit of that, but I don't sense anything to the far negative with him.
So generous with your time. We'll get you out of here on this. Any top 30 visits for the Arizona Cardinals? Anybody on their radar early about a month out?
Top 30 visits. Yeah, I'm a little slow out of the gate for you guys, but I'll get you some. I saw Zach Goodall. Just as I was coming on here, Zach Goodall, who covers the Florida Gators for Swamp 247, has Caleb Banks, the defensive lineman, visiting the Cardinals, Lions, Titans, Broncos, Falcons, and Chargers. From my understanding, there are about 10 more teams. This dude's got an incredibly busy, which sometimes means that there's questions about a guy. But Caleb Banks from Florida, the defensive lineman, will be visiting has visited, I don't know, the Cardinals. And then the other one I had for you was from Texas A&M, Tyler Onyedem. I don't know if I said that correctly, the defensive tackle from there. So Tyler Onyedem. So a couple of defensive linemen that they're working on. So that fits with where they need to kind of fill in their roster and add some depth there a little bit. So it looks like the Cardinals are focused on the defensive line with some of these guys here.
Man, oh man. Everybody's looking for is Love coming? Is Maui Noah coming? But
we're digging deep. I mean, there's 30 visits. What are we at now? How many are publicly known?
At least really, very little.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's good. That gives me more time to kind of dig up some more.
Do you think Ty Simpson takes a visit with this team?
Yeah, I do. Let me check. You know what? We'll save it for next time. Have me on next week.
Okay.
Are you going to be at the owners' meetings? Will you be at the owners' meeting?
That's right. Yeah, we'll be lurking around.
Will you be set up there or visiting and then going back to Brack? Well, either way, we can make something happen there.
We'll come down there. We're gonna be meeting with LaFleur at bright and early, 7:45 on Monday, and then we'll just kind of be hanging out the rest of the time. So yeah, we'll make time to catch up with you there for sure.
I am there starting on. I'm flying in Friday. I get in late Friday night, so I'm there Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I'm on a red eye coming back because my good friends Ian and Tom are not available to do the show on Wednesday. So your boy's got to catch a red eye. That's all right. We'll survive. We'll be good.
Do you make your way to the Valley often? I mean, is there some spots that you're looking forward to seeing?
I'm going to dinner. Not as often as I'd like to. I'm going to dinner. Where the heck am I going to dinner?
Some great spots around.
Well, my wife, it's our anniversary today, so it's our 15th.
Oh, happy anniversary!
So I thank you. I asked them for Cafe Monarch in Scottsdale.
Oh yeah, that's a big JG spot.
Well,
it was.
Yeah, maybe that was my recommendation. How about that? We're unearthing You're unearthing the sources. But yes, I did ask JJ. I'm like, where we go? And without hesitation, he said, bang, Cafe Monarch. Now, I had it 5:15, which is, early, but it's 8:15 Eastern. So, don't film the early bird special. And of course, I get my schedule for head coaching interviews that I'm doing. And Kevin O'Connell is right on the button at 5:15 at the Biltmore. And I'm like, right. So I had to move it back an hour.
There you go.
And I had to sit at the bar. I can't sit at the courtyard at the episode, but I heard the bar experience is and we're bar people, so I'm totally fine.
Sure. Yeah, let's not kid ourselves. We don't get a big table anywhere. So that's a great spot and great information as always. Looking forward to seeing you in person again next week. Pleasant travels. I look forward to more interviews too on the Insiders. Look for that.
You got it, boys. We're gonna keep pumping these out and keep getting these kids to establish their confidence level. We're loving it.
Great stuff from Mike there. Yeah, we'll be right back with your super chats here on PHNX Cardinals. Do we have a break to go to? I don't even know if we do.
We do not, Bo.
All right.
Hey, super chats.
We used to run a tight ship around here, and now we're just, I don't know what's wrong with us. I think it's just because there's such a rift between Johnny and myself.
I can't wait to yell, Bo. Kyle Haley's been a member for 6 months, kicking us started. Big fan of Kyle.
Yes.
Maybe I'm in the minority, but I kind of am neutral on Ty Simpson. Wow, that's the first that I've heard anybody be neutral. Last time I put all my hopes in a first-round quarterback in 2019. Didn't go so good. Ha. I mean, I think that's a very adult approach. It's just like, if they take him, if great. If not, I'm not going to stress about it. But I think here's what I want to emphasize. If they take him, let's just give him an opportunity. Give him a chance. Be positive, which I think you will, Bo.
Yeah, sure. I will be.
Oh, my God. That sounds so disingenuous.
I will. Hey, everybody loves a new quarterback, a new shiny quarterback. But Kyle, I don't know what neutral actually looks like as far as Ty Simpson goes. And actually, I demand you pick a side. So by the end of the show, let's hear what it is, Kyle, and we'll get to it.
Next up, we've got Calvin 499. I cannot watch Brissett for a full season. Bring Ty. Just from an outsider perspective, how can Monty be conservative with his entire tenure and keep his job?
Man, yeah. I mean, we're asking him to be risk adverse, and then we're also requesting he draft the Toyota Corolla of quarterback prospects.
He'll rip it. I'm with you, Calvin. No Jacoby Brissett all season.
Hey, at least if it's not Jacoby, you get Gardner Minshew. How about that?
That is true. Ranger gifting 20 memberships. Unbelievable. Love it so much. And we have eclipsed the 20 memberships needed to get Bo to shave a stash. All we need is 500 likes, and we are more than halfway there. So keep it flowing. Arizona Artichokes. Next up, $4.99. I have much enthusiasm for Ty Simpson as Johnny had in his live today.
Right. Johnny gets a little shy when he's on camera doing the old live. So I'm not, of course, in Studio K, so we didn't have to do that. And usually Johnny does that behind the Studio K opener. So he got a little shy. But if we continue to tell him how great his live is, maybe he'll do it in front of the camera.
Back to back
at the draft party, that's for sure.
Oh, for sure. I'll lose my voice at the draft party. Back to back super new members. Jesus became a member. Thank you so much, Jesus. Followed by Milky. We appreciate you, Milky, with a scary avatar. Jesus.
That's me when the Cardinals take Ty Simpson third overall. Right. I'm ripping my face off. He is in this picture.
Enjoy your new memberships. And then for the 20 people gifted memberships by Ranger, all we ask is consider spending $5 after your free month is over to stick around. So much good stuff that is available. We've got TR Hall, $4.99. Let me see. Did I lose it? We are about to set ourselves back after 5 years with an overreach and overpay for Ty, proving why we are a bottom 3 franchise.
That's the concern, right? You want to get back into, that struggle, that back and forth. Like, can he be the guy? Is he the guy? At least with Josh Rosen, it was like, he's not the guy. Get him out of here. On to the next.
Get out, nerd.
Maybe he's one of those. Who knows? That might be a blessing in disguise too. Keeping it going, but giving up the assets in order to make it happen. That also is an issue.
Red Sea, a very generous $10. Thank you so much, Red Sea. Ty Simpson only declared in this draft because Bama told him he wouldn't start and no other transfer options wanted him. Come on. That's the only reason he even declared this year. I'm going to say in a sea of college football teams that need quarterbacks, I think somebody would have wrote a fat check for Ty Simpson.
I'm pretty sure before Mensa went from Duke to Miami, very late in the process, that Ty they wanted Ty in Miami too.
And he said, "No, I'm going to the NFL. I'm going to be a big boy NFL quarterback."
It's still if he's getting drafted where we think he's going to get drafted, it's probably about equal, but there's more guaranteed money there for Ty Simpson. So look, I mean, let's not. NIL is great. It's great for kids still in school. But as far as still compared to NFL money, like that's going to set you up generational type wealth there, especially as a first rounder. Keeping it going. Thank you, Red Sea. Roundhouse Mouse, my favorite usernames. Toyota Corolla is a flex on a new level.
Just get me to competent football again. Just get me my groceries. Get me the gas pump. And you want a big shiny toy next year?
Isn't that Jacoby Brissett? Isn't he a reliable, compact car?
No, he's a used car. I'm still buying a new Corolla. Thank you so much, Roundhouse Mount. I have to think of a better analogy. You put me on the spot here. TR Hall's back. Ty couldn't beat out any subpar QB in his career. Now he's a first-round pick, ? Where are the QBs that he couldn't beat out holding clipboards?
Jalen Milroe is third string in Seattle. Tua was released. Who was in between there at Bama? Mac Jones.
You're listening to a bunch of guys that won a bunch of games in the NFL. I know that.
Did they win more than they lost?
Like if Ty Simpson came in and had like the win-loss record of Tua, I think anybody would take that. This team's winning 4 games a year. Yeah, just like Jenga Man, $5. JV, thoughts on Bo teaming with his mini-me to poo on Ty? Bo, issue is QB is hard to hit. If we wait for team to be ready, that QB has to hit. Try Ty early, 100%. Yeah, I watched Bo and his buddy on Lockdown, Alex. And
I just wondering who my mini-me is. It's Alex? My God, that's a miniature version of myself.
Cute. They just agreed on all their takes. That's great. I guess if you want that in a podcast, to each their own. It's not how I roll. Bo doesn't get to comment on that. Shaft, $5. It sounds like we're going to need to draw a line between Simpson fans and Simpson haters.
Yes.
Otherwise, let's get ready to rumble. I can't wait to fight somebody over Ty Simpson. I can't wait to just put up my dukes and say, I'm ready to go to war for this young man. Because here's the problem is like, I was like thumbs up on Ty Simpson. I like him well enough. And then the haters have just brought it out of me like Bo.
T.O. I drove a Toyota Jacoby for college. Keeping it going here. I like that, Shaft. Yeah, I was talking about the draft party, the draw, the line.
I would imagine most of the people who come to our draft party would be excited to type. Like if they to experience that together as a group, if they drafted their next QB, like that'd be pretty awesome. We don't get a lot of
just turns into an all-out brawl. No, Sharks and Jet style. Some aggressive dancing towards each other and singing.
Trenell, $5. How do we know Ty wasn't worried about falling in next year's draft? So he declared, why more catching strays? Laugh out loud. This class seems like the 2010 QB class. Just be careful in this NIL world and be careful with this franchise in particular, projecting that they're going to be gifted a QB high next year. I think that's a fool's errand. I would not recommend that.
It's just a much better offseason next year to try to find a quarterback. We should be able to accept that. And then also not crush Dante Moore for some reason.
Yeah, short memory. Depez Poopsie, a very generous $20 super chat. Passing on Ty to protect day 2 picks just builds a sturdier 6-11 roster. Brissett Minshew isn't a quarterback plan, and Ty doesn't stop you from signing quarterback in 2027 if he's not the guy. A 2027 QB can bust too. Swing the bat, 100%. Take a swing. Quit sitting out. This is embarrassing. Pick up your bat and take a swing and do something.
I like a sturdier 6-11 roster. I think that sounds like a good idea. Sign me up.
I bet you do. You love that 6-11. 6-11 with Ty Simpson trending up. Yes, please. Roberto, $1.99. As a lawyer, JV This is called leading the witness. Yes, leading Mike G, and basically to come out and say he thinks that they're going to have him on the top 30. Yeah, those are called Big J journalism.
Objection. Overruled, my friend. You're overruled, Roberto.
Ryan, $4.99. I remember before this past season started, Bo wouldn't take JV's hypothetical of a guaranteed 8 wins. It was actually 9. 9, and we also won a playoff game. So, Ryan, it was even better. Look what happened. No half measures, draft tie. Yeah, it's all just mystery box bro is what we're going to start calling them here. Just wait till next year, and everything will be perfect. The roster will be perfect, and Mike, and everything will be great. The runway will be perfect for a young man to come in here and take the baton. 9 wins in a playoff berth, Bo said.
Johnny's hypotheticals are so great. Hasn't it really helped as far as, like, I should have signed up for it. We would have had those 9 wins, right? If I just agreed to it.
Yes, you blew it for us. B-Dub, $1.99. I'm with Bo. Take the frozen piss missile at 34. I'm not even sure Bo would take him at 34 at this point, if he's there at 34.
Depends on who falls in the draft, I guess.
Oh my
God. It would ease
Brian.
the sting. Yeah.
Brian, $5. Corrales last 20 years. Don't break down mentally or physically. Corolla, excuse me. And the shorties love him. We do love him. We'd be lucky to have a Corolla as our franchise QB. I've used like the Andy Dalton thing.
You're not a shorty. You thought about the shotties.
No, I'm like oh, I got it. I didn't put 2 and 2 together there. Excuse me. Sure, I have to get. Bo has a lift kit on his truck, so it's hard for me to get in.
Did not have a lift kit. It's standard.
No, it's a lift. There's a lift kit on that. I agree. Competency and just, I want to take a breath and say, okay, quarterback's going to be available this weekend, and he's going to play good football. Short stack Goblin, $1.99. I'll give JGV credit. He can spin any negative stat.
Hell of a debate team member. That's for sure.
Only on football. I can't put a competent thought together anywhere else. Iowa Cardinal. Good luck to your Hawkeyes in a battle with Nebraska right now. $4.99. I was with JV on Love and now with Bo on Ty. I'm ready to fight both of you. Yeah, let's fight.
Let's go.
Give Ty Simpson Jeremiah Love. What if they took Jeremiah Love at 3 and then Ty Simpson at 34? I think Bo's head would explode. I don't think Bo would be able to make it.
A nightmare. Yeah, but it would make for a fun training camp.
And sell a lot of jerseys. Damian, $1.99. Ty reminds me a lot of Drew Lock and Daniel Jones. No thanks.
The thing about those guys is they're 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah, they don't have the
like
touch.
those guys, but shorter.
They don't have the touch of my guy.
Sounds fun.
Iron Will, $10. I can't get behind Ty. His fans want to ignore his last 6 games, 3 losses. The first game versus 5-12 FSU. First game jitters and 2 partial games. Come on, man. That's that and 3 injuries, red flags all over.
Well said.
I'll tell you what's a red flag is that we don't have 500 likes yet. Get us 500 likes and Bo will shave a stash ahead of tomorrow's show. And speaking of tomorrow's show, it's a mock draft Friday. Bo and I dive into the simulator as less than a month away. Big thanks to everybody who has signed up for the draft party Thursday, April 23rd. We have less than half the tickets remaining. This will sell out. Get your tickets now. Upper Deck Kitchen and Bar, food, vibes, free merch. Come hang with us. The Ty Simpson coordination potentially. Watch Bo's head explode in real time. But in all seriousness, thank you for those who have bought tickets. Only $60 for your diehard, $48. We appreciate everybody.
Yeah. We're at 300 likes. 300 likes.
We'll get there.
Incredible. Brian P jumping in with a super chat. Little PG-13. Ty at 3rd overall is just rage bait. Some would say some types of fans out there. Take Francis. Take Francis Maui Noah.
What a perfect way to end the show, Brian P. We appreciate you. We appreciate everybody watching. Go check out our PHNX Diamondbacks coverage. First pitch in just a little bit with our guy, Derek.
That's not it. That's not all either. I mean, we got our Arizona Wildcats show. It's going to be locked and loaded as well. Big game in the Sweet 16 tonight. Full coverage. D-backs opening day. U of A Sweet 16 right here on PHNX Sports. Make sure you're subscribed. Don't miss a moment. It's going to be an elite night of viewing. Johnny and I, though, we get to just sit back and enjoy those games until tomorrow's show at 4:30. For Shane and Johnny, I'm Bo. We'll talk to you then here on PHNX Cards.
We all silly like the mayor.